What is up, everybody? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. I'm going to get this tweeted out for the masses. We haven't done one of these from a hotel room in a long time, am I right? Just tweeted that out. All right, let me know in the chat if you can hear me. We are drinking Budweiser tonight, an American classic. Shout out to the Courtyard Marriott in West Phoenix for having a pretty solid beer selection in their fridge. All right, sweet. I think I was able to slow down the chat. I certainly tried to in the settings. So I think you can only send one chat message per 60 seconds. So that should eliminate our spammers so we don't have to ban people. Yeah, so let me know what you're drinking. Got a Budweiser. I got another one in the fridge. I'm freaking starving. I don't have to order something really cruddy when I finish with this. So if you have any suggestions, I might get Jack in the Box. Underrated tacos from Jack in the Box. Might be a hot take. I don't know if that's a hot take, but they don't have Jack in the Box back east by where I grew up. I had their tacos recently, and I was pleasantly surprised. All right, we got White Claw, Twisted Tea. I am a big Bud guy, a little Bud heavy, Bud Light. I mean, come on. I'm a red-blooded American, you know? Can't go wrong. This feels like a 2-beer stream, by the way. Just saying. I think part of the reason is I accidentally drank half the beer while I was getting the live set up. Someone asked, how are you getting Taco Bell in Southern California? For me, they're two different food groups. Like you can get tacos, like authentic good tacos in Southern California. But if you're going for like a fast food Taco Bell taco, that's different to me. It means that you're just either you're ordering it late, which is one part of it, or you're just craving that Taco Bell taco. Like that to me is not Mexican food. It's a completely different food group. So I don't even put those two together. Like if I want tacos, I go walk out to the taco guy on the corner on Lincoln Boulevard and I get my tacos. Now, sometimes I just want Taco Bell. It's its own thing. Yeah, Eric said it right. Eric said Taco Bell is its own thing. That's correct. You know, it's just not even the same, you know? Just not even the same. All right, what else is everyone drinking? We got Corona. Shiner Cheer. I don't know if I've had that. Is that Shiner Bock? Is it the same brewery? Do I like Filipino food? I've only had it a few times. I've loved it when I've had it. What's the name of that fast food chain that does Filipino food? I've been meaning to go try that. Founders All Day IPA. That's a classic right there. Margarita, Cutwater, Japanese lager. Which Japanese lager? I did a Japanese lager on this stream recently. 805, can't go wrong there. Big sake guy. Kazam, I don't even know. I'm Kazam. What do you think about sake? I love sake. Big sake guy. I pretty much like everything except for gin. I'm not a gin person. Jollibee, that's the one. I don't know. It could be like getting tacos, like authentic tacos, and getting Taco Bell is similar to getting Filipino food in Jollibee. I just been meaning to try that recently. Racer 5 IPA. Apple whiskey with a Honey Crisp apple slice in it. Kendall Larson is living the high life. You know, that's classy. That is classy right there. Vodka, Sprite, and carne asada food truck tacos. Man, you can't go wrong with that. All right, got people rolling in. So let's get started. Got my game book ready. All right. Papers flying all over the place. Chargers. What happened here? I forgot something on this game book. Chargers defeat the Arizona Cardinals 25-24 on the road. Obviously, the initial takeaway is that final drive. It's what I wrote about, and I'll get that for you guys here shortly. We're doing a $1 a month Black Friday deal, so I'll tweet that out for you guys. I did like a full in-depth breakdown on that final drive because, listen, you're not, as a quarterback in the NFL, like, and I know Patrick Mahomes makes it seem this way, but you're not going to successfully execute every 2-minute drive that you get into, you know, and Justin Herbert had to deal with the tough side of the NFL, as Brandon Staley says, the last couple of weeks where he threw interceptions at the end of these games when he had a chance to win. Chargers execute that 2-minute drive to perfection. Just some huge plays on that drive. A lot of really interesting details. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I want you guys to read the story that I wrote. But you have the 2nd and 12 after the Zion Johnson holding penalty where, you know, the Cardinals bring the 0 blitz there, all-out blitz. Chargers are able to pick it up, which I thought was really interesting because on the previous drive, that 3rd and 8, they brought a 0 blitz as well. With 0 blitz just means a cover 0. So you bring 7 rushers or you bring 7 rushers, put 4 in coverage if you have 4 eligible receivers. Basically, there's only 1 defender for every eligible receiver playing man and blitzing everybody else. And so on that 3rd and 8, they tried to go tempo there on that second to last drive down by a touchdown. They don't pick it up. They didn't have enough time to identify it. Cardinals were a little late getting set up. They tried to go tempo and beat them there, and they had a blitz called, and they just got crushed there. Where Eckler, they had a protection called where the 5 offensive linemen were taking on the 5 big guys up front, as Eckler told me, and then, you know, Eckler ended up chipping and picking up the guy coming off the edge when he should have picked up the second linebacker in the A gap. So they just didn't pick that up well. But then you get to that 2nd and 12 there, and again, Vance Joseph, the Cardinals defensive coordinator, and I wrote about this in my Friday notebook about how he loves to blitz a lot. They came into this game 3rd in the league in blitz rate. Dials up a blitz on 2nd and 12. Chargers pick it up. Okay, you have 1 offensive lineman on 1 guy blitzing. Isaiah Spiller has a freaking fantastic blitz pickup on Zaven Collins there in the A gap, stands him up. Budda Baker's the free rusher off the edge. Herbert feels it. Keenan Allen breaks his route off early because he sees the 0 blitz, cuts his route off early, picks up 16 there. That was a huge play on the drive because you got backed up there after converting the first down on the Zion Johnson holding penalty, which was a holding penalty. Kevin Cruz says, "Dad bod popper." Why do we have to be mean? Like, I'm trying to give you some Chargers takes. You come in here in the chat and you're just going to say something like that. This is a positive vibes community. All right. God. Just don't be mean, man. Why you gotta be mean? Why do people like to be mean on the internet? No, we're not going to ban him. We're not going to ban him. Okay? We're not going to ban him. Just like try and be nice to each other. So much hate out in the world, you know? Let's just try and be a little bit nicer to each other. I don't think that's that hard. Kindness is free. You know, kindness is free. And you never know what somebody's going through. And it's not hard just to be a little bit nice, you know? Just before you hit that send button in the chat, before you hit that send button on the tweet, just think about it. Like, I'm a human being, you know? Like, I meet some of you guys out there. Like, I'm a real person. I have feelings just like the rest of you guys. You know, there's no reason to be mean. No reason to be mean. You're just projecting your own insecurities. All right. So that 2nd and 12 was a huge play. So then they get the first down on the Arizona 14, 46 seconds left. There was that timeout because of the injury. Then the pressure starts coming. Obviously, you have Foster, Sorrell in at right tackle because Trey Pipkins is hurt. You have Will Clappin at center. You've got a rookie at left tackle. And the pressure starts coming. So Justin's able to get that throw off on first down and hit Gerald Everett on a sort of shallow out route on a hot read, basically, for 3 yards. Pressure comes again on 2nd down. and he misses Eckler there over the middle. The 4-man rush got home. He just didn't have time to complete it. 3rd and 7 there. Justin checks to a screen pass because they saw zone after motioning Eckler in from the outside. Great check there from Justin Herbert. I wrote a lot more about that in my column that'll be up soon. And so they convert that 3rd and 7. Eckler almost scores. Then they run the bread and butter play that they've ran on multiple times in key moments, just that bootleg to the flat. Eckler catches it. The Cardinals knew it was coming. They had it defended well. They'd obviously scouted it. Isaiah Simmons is running with Eckler to the flat, but Justin Herbert puts it on him. He's able to get it over the goal line. And then Brandon Staley, with the season on the line, all right, they lose this game. It's going to be really hard for them to make the playoffs. And he goes for 2 there on the road. I give him a lot of credit for making that call in that situation. And they dial up a perfect play. And I have a lot more in my column if you want the full details on that. But Gerald Everett runs a great route to the inside. It was great scheme, great timing for the play call. A lot of moving parts there in terms of stuff they'd put on tape previously, stuff that the Cardinals were expecting in this game based on how the Chargers play offensively. And that opened up right for Gerald Everett, and Justin Herbert completed it. And so after these 2 games where people started questioning, oh, does Justin Herbert throw too many fourth quarter passes? Can he get it done? Justin Herbert successfully leads the Chargers for a touchdown. They win the game, and they get out of there with a really a must-win victory there. And so, listen, I think more broadly, like on a specific level in this game, that's what jumped out to me. Justin Herbert in crunch time, in the clutch, leading that drive and getting a win when you absolutely had to have it. Like that, like focusing in on that, like that's my biggest takeaway. But you look at it more broadly and like, I'm going to write about this more tomorrow. Like, I don't know if this looks like a playoff team. Like the Cardinals are not a good team, and they should have come in here and really dominated this game. And they didn't. And a lot of these same issues keep popping up for this team. And like, I'm not saying I'm not being overly negative here, but like, I'm always going to spit facts here. We're going to talk about the truth. And the truth is that the run defense is a real issue. And like, I think, let's look at the stats here. So, 181 yards rushing. Now, some of that came on Murray scrambles, but James Conner ends up with 120 yards on 25 carries. Like the guy didn't have more than 69 yards rushing in any single game this season. He averages 4.8 yards per carry, gets loose on a couple. And the run defense is a real issue because I thought like before Austin Johnson got hurt, I felt like the run defense down to down wasn't atrocious. It was really like they were just giving up these catastrophic explosives. And then after Austin Johnson has gone down, and then obviously you lose Tito Obonia and you lose Christian Covington too, it's gone from, okay, it's okay down to down, and they're giving up these catastrophic explosives to like, it's a real issue down to down. Like they are not fitting the run well. They are not physical enough at the point of attack. And so like, it's an issue, how much of it is scheme and how much of it is personnel. Like that's hard to really sift through. I think the way Brandon Staley plays defense with the 2 high shells and with lighter boxes is going to give up some rushing yards, and he's okay giving up some rushing yards. However, in some of these games, and this includes last year, like it gets to a point where you're going to lose football games because of the way that you're defending the run. And it's changed since these injuries. And so if we're talking about how is this team going to make the playoffs, like they have to find a way to defend the run better. Like they're down Joey Bosa, Kyle Van Noy hasn't been great on the edge against the run. They don't have the bodies on the inside. And this is not a good rushing football team. Like you can go ahead and you can use that excuse against the Falcons. You can use that excuse against the 49ers and even against the Chiefs. Like you don't want Mahomes to beat you. You're willing to give up some rushing yards in that game, but you can't give up that type of yardage to James Conner. He averaged 4.8 yards per carry, and he really has not been a productive player this season. They were down there starting left tackle. It's not a particularly good offensive line. Obviously the scrambling is different than the design rushes, but this is a real problem. And like, it's a weakness that teams are going to attack. And if you give up this kind of rushing performance to a team like the Cardinals, like it's going to be really hard for you to win in the postseason when you have a weakness that big, or even get into the postseason in some of these big games down the stretch. I thought the third down defense wasn't very good. They allowed 7 of 13 conversions there. And then the red zone defense wasn't very good. They gave up a couple red zone touchdowns, obviously the one at the end of the half on the Kyler Murray scramble, and they give up the 6-yard touchdown to James Conner where, Kenneth Murray's there. He's got to make a play. He just missed the tackle. Some other ugly plays in this game. You have the touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins, where JT Woods, who's playing more because Nas Adderley is out, just whiffs a tackle really badly in the middle of the field. I had no idea what he was doing on that play. That's really been an issue for him. But the positive defensively, and I know like there are issues, but the positive defensively is number one. Derwin James is a dude. We all knew that, but he comes up with 2 huge takeaways in this game. Like obviously the 4th and 1 probably could have knocked that down, given them better field position, but that gave this team juice. Like the defense was celebrating the end zone, and Derwin James comes up with 2 big plays. Forces the fumble on the second drive of the game. Comes up with that interception on the 4th and 1, which is a huge momentum swing as the Chargers go and score on that next drive. And then they shut things down in the 4th quarter. Like there are things to be corrected. Obviously, they have to make a lot of improvements here. Hopefully, Joey Bosa for the Chargers, Joey Bosa gets back. And I don't know I don't believe it's going to be soon. He, put on his Instagram that he's, trying to work his way back. It feels like maybe the Titans game, we'll see when he's back at practice. I can't put any sort of definitive finger on that. But they were really able to lock things down in the 4th quarter when they needed stops to keep themselves in the game. And the offense was struggling, obviously, giving up a ton of pressure. After Trey Pipkins left the game with Corey Linsley out, we all know what a difference Corey Linsley makes in pass protection. But after that Connor touchdown that put the Cardinals up 24-17, force a 3 and out, force a 3 and out, force a 3 and out, and that gave Justin Herbert the ball back with 1:48 left. So, I think Brandon Staley kind of hit it on the head. Yeah, absolutely issues. We'll see if they can get it corrected, but the defense made winning plays down the stretch to put themselves in position. Ideally, the Chargers come in here and they kick the shit out of the Cardinals, but it just doesn't obviously that didn't happen. And, whether it's because of injuries, whether it's because of coaching, we can talk about the different reasons for it, but this team just hasn't put together that complete performance in all 3 phases. And this was, again, similar situation where you had really good spurts for all 3 units. I think the special teams have been the most consistent. We had really good spurts for the offense and the defense, but they just haven't put together a complete performance. And you're not going to go on the road and dominate a team if you don't put together a complete performance. And, I think it's a combination of all of those things, but that more broadly, we'll see what happens, Got 6 games left. This was a game that they had to win. They managed to escape with it. They've won a lot of these close games. They've made a lot of big plays down the stretches of these games, and they've put themselves in position here. We'll see what happens. But really, I just give a lot of credit to Justin Herbert for executing that drive late in the game and making the winning plays when he needed to. I think my story's up, by the way. All right. Add this to the description. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Okay, so my column's up. Obviously, I want you guys to stay here and watch this, but column's up, and we're doing a Black Friday deal. It's $1 a month, so click that link below, and you'll be able to read my column from tonight. Let me tweet this out, and then we can get the questions. All right, let's do some questions. What's wrong with tweeting from my computer, Kayla Perez? What's wrong with tweeting from my computer? I tweet from my computer during games. I also tweet from my phone. I tweet from everywhere. I'm constant. I'm omnipresent on Twitter. Tweet from everywhere. Tweet from my brain. I can just send tweets by closing my freaking eyes. All right, questions. Where's Forrest Merrill? Forrest Merrill is on IR. Yeah, he hurt himself during training camp. That's the first. That's the first question we get to. Will the run defense get better when Bosa returns? I believe so. I believe it will get better. A lot of these runs that they've given up are right at Kyle Van Noy. Not all of them. I don't like you don't want to pin it on one guy, right? But a lot of the long runs, I don't think the edge play has been, as good as when Joey Bosa is in there. And that's no knock against Kyle Van Noy. I mean, he is what he is at this point of his career, and he wasn't signed to come in here and be an every down edge rusher. They were going to use him in a lot of different places, and he's, I give him a lot of credit for stepping up and at times forcing a lot of pressure, like he did, last week against the Chiefs. I thought he rushed really well, but he's not Joey Bosa against the run. That's just what it is. So I think when Joey Bosa comes back, it's going to be better. Seen some questions about Zion Johnson. I mean, he's a rookie. Like I think you guys sort of got maybe a false perception of how difficult it actually is to step in and play offensive line as a rookie. Like Rashawn Slater is the absolute outlier in terms of transitioning to the NFL. Like to step in as a left tackle in year one and be as good as he was, like that doesn't really happen. More often, you get an offensive lineman who comes in as a rookie and has his ups and downs, and it takes some time for him to find his rhythm and to adjust to the game. And one thing that a lot of people talk about in the NFL is that the transition at guard is very difficult from college to the NFL because it's so fast off the ball. And the difference off the ball between in college, especially like where he played at BC and the ACC for the most part, outside of Clemson, Florida State, but like the difference of a defensive tackle coming off the ball in college and coming off the ball in the NFL, like Chris Jones versus like your average ACC defensive tackle, like that difference is enormous. And so like the holding penalty tonight was on JJ Watt. You're talking about one of the greatest defenders of all time, one of the greatest pass rushers of all time. And he's had his ups and downs, but that's normal for a rookie offensive lineman and any kind of rookie. Like this is a take that I will go down with for the rest of my career. No player can be a bust in his rookie season. It can't happen. If you are saying that, then you are making a proclamation too early. Like you need to give these players some time to develop before you make any sort of determination about what they are as players. And Zion has had some really fantastic moments. He has all the things you're looking for. He's highly intelligent. He is, built like the Terminator. He's incredibly strong. He moves well. All of the offensive linemen talk about just how eager he is to learn. He's very coachable. Like all of these things that you want. Like, is he going to have some down moments? Yeah. But any rookie is. Not like no rookies are going to come in and be Rashawn Slater. So just have some patience with the kid. He's going to be a really good player. I'm confident that he's going to be a really good player. He's had some ups and downs over these last few weeks, and that's just like part of it. And the other thing is like he's got the two guys around him are in and out. Trey Pipkins, when he's been in and healthy, has been really good, but you've got Trey Pipkins in there. He's in and out. All of a sudden, you got Storm Norton playing there at times. Now it's Foster Sorrell in there. Corey Linsley can't seem to string together, multiple games in a row before he's in and out. He's just had a really rough year, and it's food poisoning. Now he has a concussion. He had the knee thing earlier in the year. Like continuity on the offensive line is really important. It's especially important when you have a rookie in there who's trying to learn the ropes for the first time. Like having some stability around him in terms of who he's playing with is really, really important. And when Trey Pipkins and Zion Johnson have gotten time together, you've really seen them take off in terms of their double teams, their combo blocks in the run game, in terms of how they're passing off stunts. Like that stuff has improved, but it takes time together. And so these are all factors. But, in no way, shape, or form am I down on Zion Johnson. I don't think any of you guys should be down on Zion Johnson. I think he's going to be a really good player, but he's just going through normal shit that rookies go through, especially on the offensive line. Yeah. Do I think the run blocking will improve? Listen, it's a really tough situation because I think the offensive linemen feel like they're going to need more than, how many design rushes did they get off? They got 9 design rushes off in the game. So any offensive lineman will tell you that like they need reps in a game to get into a rhythm, and when you only get 9 rushes off in a game, it's going to be really hard for you to produce, especially when you have all these moving pieces. And like, I understand that part of it. The other part of it is, you only get so many shots at it. And like, I think early in the game, right, they were trying to get the running game going. They got the Eckler run on the first play of the game. But then all of a sudden, you want to get the running game going, hand off to Spiller middle, tackle for 3 yards. They run that pitch play. He stuffed the line. It's 3rd and 7. And, then Herbert got sacked. Next series, they, had to check down to DeAndre, play action screen. That was kind of a mess of a series. And then Herbert sacked again. Next series, you give Eckler a shotgun run. He's blown up in the backfield, tackle for loss, 2nd and 12. You get the play action on 2nd and 12. Austin has a drop, 3rd and 12, false start on Jamari Salyer, 3rd and 17, half the pass, punt. Like, now you're in the second quarter, and it's like you got to get the ball moving. And at that point, I think Lombardi was just like, listen, let's throw it. Like, our best shot here is to put it in Justin Herbert's hands. And so I don't disagree with that. But it's like, how do you get the running game going? If the offensive line and the running backs feel like they need to get into a rhythm and they need to stick with it, but you also are down 10-0, and now you have to come back and you're falling behind in all of these games. And the best way that you can move the ball, you feel like, is putting the ball in Justin Herbert's hands. It's like, how do you reconcile those two things, keep everyone happy and win and score points, right? So I think that is at the issue of it, and I don't know how you rectify that, a lot of these negative plays early in the games, you fall behind, and then the game script and what's happening is like, you can't on that drive, like, you can't afford to hand off and lose 2 yards. Like, you have to get going. You're down 10-0. It's the second quarter, and you feel like the best way to move the ball is for Justin Herbert to throw it. So, it's hard to sit there and be like, yeah, the run blocking was bad when they only got off 9 runs. Like, yeah, obviously I have to go back and watch the film, but like, on those 9 runs, the run blocking wasn't particularly good, but it's only 9 runs. It's such a small sample size. And a lot of these offensive linemen feel like the more you run it, you get into a little bit of more of a groove. So it's like game script, and it's reconciling these two things between like, hey, putting it in Ten's hands is our best option, especially when we're down and we got to get things going. But at the same time, the whole group of players involved in the running game, whether it's offensive linemen, tight ends, or running backs, need more reps to get their rhythm. So that's kind of my take on it. What do you think about 4th and 6 not going for it on the second to last drive? I mean, I know that Ben Baldwin's spot had it as a clear go for it. I can see it going both ways though. Like, 4th and 6 is it's different than like a 4th and 1 or a 4th and 2. Like, those are like the no-brainer, definitely go for it. Listen, like I think part of this is that Brandon Staley has a lot of faith in J.K. Scott. And, at that point in time, they had forced. I'm trying to look at this. They had forced 3 and out. Where is this? Was it on that first drive of the fourth quarter? Which one are we talking about here? Let me see. Yeah. So 4th and 6 at the plus 48 with 10:59. Yeah, so Cardinals up 24-6. I can kind of understand it, but I think what I was saying earlier is that, part of it is that Brandon Staley really has a lot of confidence in his punt unit, and they were able to, pin him there, But like I wrote about it last week. I think it's pretty evident at this point that the decision-making process has changed. Definitely trust his punt unit more, trust his defense more. I don't know if he should. And that's impacting the decision making. So that's tough. Like, I don't know. I know the numbers say go for it. I'd be curious to see what the Chargers internal modeling said in that situation. I saw the win probability difference. It felt like a lot in that situation, like considering it's a 4th and 6. Especially with Corey Linsley out, like you have to factor in that injury. Like I don't know if, like I know for a fact that that model doesn't factor in like that injury, for example. But yeah, I mean, overall, I just like I wrote it last week. Like, I just don't think it's like he's clearly a different decision maker. Like, does he go for it on 4th and 6 there last year? Probably, but it's not the same process this year in terms of how these models are, incorporating special teams, how they're incorporating defense. I think last year the punt unit was dreadful. It's a little different this year. Staley said he wanted, um, he said that he felt like he could pin him there, and he felt like his defense would get a stop. So that's what he's saying. I could kind of see it going both ways just because of the distance to the first. But yeah, Linsley has a concussion. That's why he didn't play in the second half. Thoughts on Vato lately, Michael Davis? I think he's played really well. Yeah, I think he's had a really solid season. Obviously some ups and downs, but I think he stepped in that Denver game after J.C. Jackson got benched and played well, and then ever since J.C. Jackson's gotten hurt, I think he's been really solid. I think he and Asante Samuel have both been solid. Obviously like not perfect, but I don't think they're the reason the Chargers are struggling on defense. Is Gilman really better than JT Woods? Yeah, he is at the moment. I thought Alohi played a really good game. He had that pass breakup on that 3rd and 5, like midway through the fourth quarter. I thought that was a fantastic play. Cardinals went tempo there. Murray tried to hit McBride on that out route, and Alohi had it covered and dove in and broke that up. I thought that was a fantastic play. He's got his limitations. Like, he was a 6th-round pick for a reason, you know. Athletically, some limitations in terms of how he plays in the deep part of the field, but he's made some plays this year. And yeah, I think he's just more. I think Brandon Taylor just trusts him a little bit more than he trusts JT Woods at the moment, particularly as a tackler. You know, even if Alohi has missed some tackles this year, like JT Woods is, you can't trust him in the open field, and that's a real issue at safety. Yep, 4th-and-1 coverage from him as well. Yeah, reading that that route to the flat there, that was excellent. Yeah, so I think Alohi. Yeah, I think he's just more trustworthy as a player. Trey Pipkins' injury is the same knee. Yeah, he got rolled up on his left knee. You know, the guy can't catch a break. It's the 3rd time this season he's had somebody just roll up on that knee like that. Just really unfortunate. So we'll get a clear update tomorrow on sort of where he's at. Came back in, and then he had to leave for the fourth quarter. So, I mean, he's trying to battle through it, but, you know, seems like he takes a week off, gets a little bit healthier, feels some stability, and then boom, next game, somebody rolls up on it again. So, any update on Parham? He's still on IR. He started working out on the field a little bit, so he's making some progress, but, you know, we'll see where he's at next week. What is the feeling around K9? I talked about Kenneth last week. You know, so go watch last week's if you want like a full spiel, but the spiel was basically like, you know, there's a spectrum of what players give you, right? And it's not just black and white. There's not just good players and bad players. There's adequate players, there's slightly below average players, and you know, Kenneth Murray has some limitations. But he does give the Chargers something in terms of his physicality, athleticism as a blitzer, as a run defender. And so like I don't think he's lived up to his first round selection. You know, I don't know if he's ever going to live up to that, but he does give you a skill set that is usable and functional and valuable in certain situations, and it's just about putting him in positions to succeed. And so, like, I think he falls somewhere in like the. Is he a great player? No. Is he a terrible player? No. If he's not great, he sucks, and it's like, well, that's not how any of this works. You know, you can do some if you don't put him in the right positions. You know, like I think putting him on Travis Kelce and man to man is probably not the best thing for Kenneth Murray. You know, so. Do I think Lindsley or Pipkins play on Sunday? I have no idea. It's literally right after the game. So, you know, you got to give it some time, and we'll see who's at practice on Wednesday. And, you know, you got to know, you'll know more, you know, tomorrow. They got to get tests and figure it out. And so we'll see. Herbert really trusts Carter in big moments. Love it. Yeah. You know, DeAndre Carter's been a real steal of a signing for this team. You know, career high in catches, career high in yards, tied his career high in touchdowns today. Been excellent as a punt returner. That's one thing I didn't mention is they got the 19-yard punt return there to set up the field position, which was well blocked. You got some really key blocks from young guys, Raheem Lane, Amen Ogbongbemiga. JT Woods even had a decent block there. And then, you know, Carter takes that for 19 yards. He's been excellent as a punt returner. But then he's been, you know, with all these guys out, you know, he's been one of Herbert's favorite targets, and he really trusts him. Obviously, he had the 33-yard touchdown tonight, wide open down the sideline. They've tried to get him involved in some screen stuff. I didn't think that really worked today. But yeah, he's like your perfect number 4 receiver. You know, obviously, you know, he's there as a returner. But I think he's really gotten to flourish this year with some added opportunity, and good for him. You know, good for him. My fiance is calling. Should I pick it up on the stream? I'm gonna pick it up. Hey, I'm streaming. Okay. Okay, bye. Nice. The TV announcer said Herbert's ribs would move when he got hit. Have you heard that? Or the ribs still affecting the release? Yeah, I don't know what that means. Yeah, Bandy's fumble recovery. That was he has a huge moment in the game. Um, yeah, because they're down 10-0 there. Palmer catches that dig route right around midfield. It's an explosive gain. Fumbles initially ruled Cardinals recovery, and then it's overruled on replay. They said they saw Bandy recover it on replay, and then it was sort of taken away from him by whatever Arizona player was in there. So yeah, that was a really big play in the game. Hold on. I'm explaining to the fiance what I just did. Yeah, so shout out to Michael Bandy. That was a good play. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? It's a Christmas movie if you want it to be a Christmas movie. Like, I feel like that's completely subjective. Now, if we're talking Christmas movies, though, Elf, best Christmas movie of all time, non-negotiable. I will give no further explanation. Home Alone. Oh man, I said non-negotiable, so I can't change my take. But Home Alone is great. Elf is so good though. Mm. Get a little eggnog with some brandy, some homemade peanut butter blossom cookies. Elf on the screen, man. A little Christmas tree. Holiday season. All right, what else we got? How are you guys feeling? What do you think? What do you think? Like, win's a win. I think I guess overall, win's a win. I think like epic final drive there, epic finish. I think a playoff team wins that game a little more handily, but considering everything that's happened this season, to be 6-5 and still have a shot, I don't know how you could ask for much more considering all of these injuries that they've had. Yeah, didn't look great. Feeling emotionally drained and conflicted. That's just like my ever-present status in life. No reason to believe in this team. You don't believe that, Mike Maitland. You don't believe that. I'll give you one reason to believe in this team. His name is Justin Herbert. All right, friends. We're going to call it there. Appreciate everybody joining. Reminder, my column from tonight is in the description below. We are doing our Black Friday deal, $1 a month. Click the link, subscribe to The Athletic. Everyone in the chat, just let everyone know that's not subscribed to The Athletic why it's worth subscribing to The Athletic. Let some people know. I promise you that no one works harder than I do to get you guys all the information that you guys want. And so subscribe there, get access, $1 a month every week. I do takeaways or column off the game. I do my final thoughts, which is deep dive into all of the statistics off the game. You get a film review midweek on what I thought was the most interesting thing that I saw on film. You get your Friday notebook, which is all your key matchups, all of the big storylines, everything that I've heard and collected in the locker room during the week. So you get everything you could possibly want all week. And then also when you subscribe there, you get the live rooms and you get access to all the other fantastic writers at The Athletic. I mean, best sports content on the internet. I read it every day for all the other great writers on the site. I would be a subscriber myself, even if I didn't work at the company. So I can ask you one thing during this holiday season. Click that link below, subscribe to The Athletic, and come read my content. If you like what I do here on Hops with Pop, I promise you that my writing on The Athletic is much better. I'm much better at writing than I am at talking. So if you like what I have to say here, everything on The Athletic is exactly what I'm saying here. It's just worded a lot more beautifully, I would say, and more in depth. You get a lot more information on there. So once again, Black Friday deal, $1 a month. Click that link below. Come join us at The Athletic. As always, I appreciate everyone joining. We will talk next week. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.